Three, two, one. Wait for this fucking thing to get off of my... And we're live!
Huzzah!
And Happy New Year, everyone, for a brand new year of Master Students Podcast, with mostly going to be hosted by me, since everyone else is lazy assholes. And joining me tonight, I have our usuals, which are Proto,
Hello.
Jacob,
Tablet edition.
Tablet Edition, and Ryoga. And Ryoga!
Turn his mic off.
Ryoga's here in case you care. Anyway, tonight we'll be talking about twerking polar bears, a new addition to the Fairly Odd Parents, and what pets do when you're not around. And we're going to be starting with the last category, which is the brand new trailer for The Secret Life of Pets. For those who don't know, this is the newest film from Illumination Entertainment, who's done the Despicable Me movies, Hop, and The Lorax. And this is their upcoming one of two movies of this year, Secret Life of Pets, and the other one being Sing, which is going to be directed by the same guy who directed the live-action adaptation of The Hitchhiker's Guide to the Galaxy. I'm not even making this up. Look it up. It's true. Anyway, a brand new trailer has been released showing off a slight glimpse of what the plot is and showcasing Kevin Hart's character. I can't remember. Snowball the Rabbit. And what are you guys' thoughts on it?
It was, I think somebody in the comments, like either on Facebook or YouTube, put it best. It was actually really good until the last joke.
Yeah.
Which I don't know. Actually, I wouldn't even go that far because there was a little bit to that with like the cat. In case you don't know, anybody who has not seen it, it ends with a poop joke.
Kevin Hart rabbit shit some rabbit shit over there and the cat plays with it. That's what you're missing.
Yeah.
Although it does have one funny thing about that bit with the cat there.
Yep.
Yeah, anyway, anyone else?
Yeah. I seen the trailer. I liked it until the end. After it, I wanted to kill a fucking homeless guy.
Bit on
Well,
the dark side, but straightforward and to the point. I can understand that. Ryoga?
all I can say is, number one, I'm not too much of a fan of Kevin Hart's humor. I didn't ever find him funny, nor did I find anything likable about him as Snowball in the Secret Life of Pets trailer. So all I can say, I don't know, it kind of reminded me a bit more of the Nut Job from, like 2014, 2013 or something like that.
14.
14?
Yeah, 14.
2014. So yeah. So that's pretty much my impression. So it's not something I would probably be too excited about, but it's not something I would probably diss either. So it's pretty much on a neutral ground. At the very least, it's not something like Nor of the North.
Oh boy.
Which we shall be getting to in a few minutes or so. Anyway, my thoughts on the trailer. I liked the first trailer a lot, probably a lot more. But as a whole, I think it looks like it could be some fun. Getting some very late 90s, early 2000s vibes from, like, in terms of what the story and what the humor is going to be like. And I don't necessarily mean that in a bad way. I mean, I think it looks pretty good for what it is. I'm more interested in checking out what Sing's going to be like, since, I don't know, I think that seems like a more interesting project. But overall, I think it looks like it'd be pretty solid if done right.
And they better.
Yeah. And hopefully it'll be the much better Eric Strong Street movie that he happens to star in, and aside from The Loft, if you know what I'm saying.
Oh yeah, you didn't like The Loft, huh?
No, I did not. Jeremy John summed it up best. Clue: no one gives a shit edition. Anyway, that it, everyone.
Try it.
All right, and now we move on to. Oh, this is actually pretty speedy that we got into the next topic.
Because simply put, there's not much to say about the Secret Life of Pets. It's not something that we would probably want to talk about, unlike Nor of the North or Zootopia, for that matter.
Oh yeah, Zootopia! I forgot about that. You guys want to quickly talk about that?
Well, if you want.
Sure. Yeah, let's talk.
All right. I think I've already discussed for you guys what Zootopia is and sort of our
Yeah,
podcast.
of course.
Okay, so
Pretty much.
interrupt me one more time. I dare you.
I didn't mean to.
I
Okay.
mean, we're just saying, yeah, we're familiar with it. So so that's just the natural response.
Would you
I
want me to
don't
interrupt
do
you?
a goddamn thing.
Damn.
Any
Look at that picture.
Anyway, if you're not familiar with Zootopia, go watch our previous podcast on it. I believe it's in our DC, no, not DC, D23 Expo trailer. What are you giggling about?
Who, me?
Nothing.
Yeah, you.
I'm sorry. It's just whenever something like that happens, I tend to giggle.
Okay. Anyway, for those of you not aware of this, just go watch our previous podcast. There's a new trailer out. What did you guys think?
Not interested.
Okay, that's great.
But I'm getting it first.
All right, fine. The Mexican bastard. What he means is that the Mexican bastards feeder is going to be playing it earlier than us. We're getting it in March, which is about a couple months. Jacob?
I haven't seen that one, but I have seen the Japanese trailer that came out like a while ago.
There's a Japanese trailer?
Yeah,
Yeah.
That was the international. The international trailer is actually the Japanese version, which turned out to be, I don't know. I actually like the Japanese dub a whole lot better than the English dub because
I agree. That was really good.
it just sounds right with with Judy and Nick's voices.
I'll have to check it out then.
You have
I've
to
watched the
check
English
it out. Because in terms of just the tone on how their choice of voice actors for the Japanese version, it just fits. It's almost as though you're actually watching more of an anime than a Disney film, so to speak.
Okay then.
Which kind of makes me want a Zootopia anime now, for some reason.
Oh boy.
Jake?
Oh, I would be all for it. They could do a spin-off. It's not like they've done this before. They did
Stitch?
they did the Stitch ones.
I don't remind. We don't talk all that shit.
Oh god, I remember that.
And they even had an original series that was exclusive on Japan about a robot. I forgot her name, but it was done in 3D. But it's only available in Disney Japan. So
Wait,
I'm all for Disney Japan doing an anime TV series based on Zootopia. And I could pretty much guarantee if they're going to do that, a lot of anime fans, and by extension, the furry community, are going to eat that up.
and Paul Dale is going to have a heart attack.
Yes, and Paul Dale is going to have a field day when that.
Bit of a joke for anybody who's ever in the Cartoon Research Facebook group. We know this guy very well.
Don't explain the joke. Don't explain the joke. Just say it's from someone in Cartoon Research.
Anyway, past all of that, what did you think of the trailer?
All I can say is, this is basically one of the furry movies, so to speak, that I'm definitely looking forward to. Hey, this isn't the only one. We're getting North of the North. We're getting Secret Life of Pets. We're getting Angry Birds. We're getting the Nut Job 2. We have Kung Fu Panda. So yeah, I would have to declare all of them as furry movies. So of all the furry movies that are popping up, Zootopia is the one I'm definitely looking forward to. End of story, George.
You really had
For
to.
some reason, I thought you were going to do a furry pun.
You just had to. You had to bring it up. I thought we were classy here. We avoided it with the other two, but now is the time you bring it up.
We had to piss off someone, so we had to do it.
You didn't just address the elephant in the room. You shot it down with a chainsaw.
I have a chainsaw gun.
Come on, George. No matter how you're gonna say it, it's pretty much technically a furry movie. There's no of passing that law. It's basically about a show about talking animals.
Give me a second. Does that technically make this a furry movie? Because this is the thing that reminds me of a lot.
Yes, it does. It does.
Yes,
George.
it does. Yes, it does. It is a furry movie.
Get over it.
It's a fairy film. I mean, not furry film. No matter how you look at it.
Oh boy.
And I haven't even gone to that incident regarding Undertale yet.
Don't. Just don't. I think we already pissed them all enough.
All right, now I'm going to discuss my own thoughts. If your guys are not done, okay?
Go ahead, George.
All
I
right.
want to let it cool down a little bit.
Okay.
You want me to take that?
Oh, sure.
Yes. Is this empty?
Yes.
Enjoy.
Thank you. What? Something wrong?
Anyway,
That was my dad. Sorry.
my own personal thoughts on the trailer are as such. I think the movie looks good, but I felt like they kind of showed a bit too much of it than they have in the other trailers. I'm noticing this is a trend with certain films, particularly animated ones. First trailer gets you interested. Second one usually shows off a little bit too much of the plot. I think I even got a good understanding of what's going to probably happen in the film now. But nevertheless, I'm still excited. I think it was really good. Disney, in terms of current animation, hasn't let me down in a while now. I think the only film I don't know. I think the only movie I was really iffy on with them was the Image Work movies that they did a couple years ago.
You mean like Chicken Little or something like that?
No, I mean the motion capture movies they did with Robert Zemeckis and stuff.
Oh yeah, like Christmas Carol and Mars Needs Moms.
Christmas Carol was actually fairly decent in my opinion. Mars Needs Moms.
That was bad.
I don't think we need to talk
It's
about that
really
movie.
bad.
I don't think we need to talk about that. Anyway, yeah, I'm looking forward to it. Hope it's good. That's all I have to say. Anyway, now let's get to the real meat of tonight, which are two topics that are, you probably guessed it, going to be fairly negative. Well, maybe not fairly odd parents from my perspective, but you'll see what I mean later. Okay.
Norm of the North.
And not just yet, Mexican bastard. For those of you who are unaware, Lionsgate has decided from its original, I'm not making this up, from its original direct-to-DVD release to give this movie a full theatrical one. Norm of the North, a animated movie starring Rob Schneider as a polar bear.
A twerking polar bear.
I was gonna get to that.
I was actually going to get into that too.
Okay. And it was officially released in January with a staggering 0% on Rotten Tomatoes.
See, I remember when I think you got the screen cap and it said 3%. I didn't know it actually went lower. So the three people who liked it, the small people who liked it, they decided they didn't like it anymore.
Practically.
I think that they only give it as sort of a sarcastic review of it. But yeah, but officially, yes, Norm of the North is still at 0, which is perhaps something I've never seen. I've never seen a movie that's so bad it had a 0% rating on Rotten Tomatoes ever.
Give you guys some kind of perspective on how bad this movie truly might be. I haven't seen it. Only one of our podcast members and group members, Tommy Williams, has seen it. And Michael Caine, I believe, I can't remember his name. And not Michael Caine. Is that his name? I don't know how to pronounce it. I don't know. He's a guy who's occasionally on the road. To give you guys some clarity on how bad this movie might be, let me compare it to a few releases of a couple of months ago. Fantastic Four, which just dropped on DVD, 10%. Gem and the fucking Holograms, in my opinion, the worst fucking movie of 2015. If you start clarity, I've seen a lot. I've seen over 70 movies from last year. Like, I believe of 20 or something.
I thought it was like 8 or so. I could be wrong. You want me to check?
I'm checking right now. You know what? I'm gonna screen share. Give me a second. Let me just get my computer's lagging like complete ass. Get rid of some stuff. Anyway, I'm just currently screen sharing now. Anyway, hard to derail this thing. I just want to prove a point. Okay, take a look at this. 14%.
Okay.
11%. 0. In fact, before we get into this more on this, let me read you a quick synopsis of the critic consultations. A pouring feat in the field of twerking polar bear animation.
Pioneering feat. Pioneering feat.
Okay, pioneer. Why don't you read it, Jacob?
Okay, a pioneering feat in the field of a pioneering feat in the field of twerking polar bear animation, but barely retrograde in every other respect. Normal Nora should only be screened in case of parental emergency.
Another example, take a look at this. Alvin and the Chipmunks the Road Trip, 17%.
Well, to be fair, Alvin the Chipmunk is Alvin the Chipmunk, so there's no way to get around that. It's a brand, and a lot of kids apparently still watch the animated series on Nickelodeon, so that's expected. No matter how much we hate it, we know it's gonna do well, even behind the shadow of The Force Awakens. But Norm of the North is.
All right, to give you guys a good impression of what this means to me, I'm just going to demonstrate it like this.
Did I just tempt fate by asking if he was going to scream?
We haven't even gone to the fact that, I don't know, reports are saying that despite having that 0% rating, it's gonna sell well.
Because of course it is.
Because of the fact it's a low budget movie.
Well, yeah,
so
I know.
So that's one part. So it's gonna get some diminishing. Not diminishing. It's gonna get some returns. It's not gonna go in the red.
So
in other words, if you put a movie from like the Asylum, directed by Tommy Wiseau and produced by Uwe Boll in the theater, it will make a profit.
Yeah, well, Uwe Boll is completely different because of that. He has that tax thing, so he can make any movie he wants, and he'll just be all a write-off. But in the case of North, it's pretty much on the road to get to earning a profits. And I haven't seen the movie. I was supposed to over the weekend just to see how bad it is, but I got caught up with a lot of stuff, so I wasn't able to check it out.
Okay, this is not just a letter to you. This is a letter to you, Ryoka. This is a letter to all of you. I'm talking to you watching this fucking thing. If you pay so much as a single dollar to see this movie, I will personally hunt you down with this axe in my bare hands, drag your ass into the middle of your backyard, chop you up into little pieces, put you through a wood chipper, much like that guy did in Fargo, take your remains, feed them to a polar bear, kill the polar bear, make a bearskin coat out of that, place it in my room, piss on it, set it afire, and then hang myself. You get the picture?
Yoga, go see it. Don't let him force you to do something you don't.
You do know we're in the same state, by the way, Jacob.
I know.
I know. I'll probably schedule one.
Okay.
Like I said, this one just makes me curious as to just simply how bad it is compared to all the bad movies that came out last year. Fantastic Four, Jim and the Holograms. How does this thing top as perhaps one of the worst animated movies in 2016, if not of all time? I mean, I don't know if any of you guys have seen really, really bad anime movies. We've actually talked this earlier about the Korean anime was, but there are also some ones made in America and one in Europe. I recall there was one. I think Jack, one of our old members, Jack, talked about it. There was an old animated movie about Joshua from the Bible, and he was a lion there, and it was an animated 3D movie, and it was
Oh wait! Oh my god! Oh my god!
that
I know what you're talking about now.
that
Oh
that,
yeah!
that was terrible.
What movie?
I forgot the name, but it's something.
It was something like a. Hang on. Let me see if I can look it up. Hang on.
it's about the biblical character Joshua, but he's a lion in this.
Like a humanoid lion.
It's about this some kid who's also a cub who, for some reason, traveled back in time to the time of Joshua.
Joshua in the
And
Promised Land.
Joshua in the Promised Land.
What
It,
the fuck?
the story is awful. The CG is bad enough, but everything is just so bad. You'd think that this was made in the early '80s or something for 3D, but no, it was like in the 2000s.
That's insane.
If I remember correctly, the story, what was it, like the kid travels back in time, he becomes Joshua, am I
Yeah,
right?
he becomes Joshua and has
And
to
stays
relive.
there for years. He's in
Yes.
this body for years. And sees like all this bloodshed and whatnot. And he's like, and by the end of the movie, he wakes up and it's all a dream, and he learns a lesson and gets back together, hangs out with his family who had troubles, but they, even though we don't know why, and they kind of resolve them off screen.
Oh.
Well, there goes half my brain cells.
George, don't be like that.
So, do we have anything else before we move on to the meat of this fucking podcast?
Apparently.
All I can say is that's why I'm so curious if North of the North would somehow top Joshua in the Promised Land as perhaps one of the most extremely bad animated movies I've seen. Now, I want to talk a bit about Rob Schneider because, if I recall, the last movie he made was also bad. It was aired in Australia. I think it was something to do with an underwater story or something. I forgot.
Oh, the Reef? Was it the
Yes,
Reef?
The Reef.
Oh god.
That was the last.
I have that
was-
movie. Actually, hang on.
You have that?
I do, actually. Let me see if I can find it. Where was it? Ah, here we go.
Are you kidding me?
That was like from 2006 or something.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think so. 2006, yeah. And this has like look at this great cast of people: Freddie Prinze Jr., Evan Rachel Wood, Fran Drescher, John Rhys Davies. Wait, what?
What?
R. Lee Ernie? Andy Dick. Oh well, Andy Dick. I could see that. Should I put this away?
Yes.
Yes.
Please.
It has a sequel.
Almighty help.
It has a sequel.
It
I
has a
know.
sequel. It has a sequel from 2012.
Please just let me get this end.
And that one has Drake Bell as the main character. Isn't that lovely?
Yes.
Lose any more brain
Jake
cells.
Bell is the main character.
That's Norm of the North. You know
Should
what?
we also mention Dingo Pictures?
As soon as it comes online, I'm most likely going to watch it. So if you want to see me go insane over it, tune in to Mash Tunes. Maybe I'll
I
do.
mean, that's one thing I like to propose.
Oh God.
If I like to propose, on the next Max Tunes podcast,
You
if
say
ever
what
we
I
all
think
get
you're gonna say. I
if we all get to watch Norm of the North live reactions, just to see how our faces as to how unbelievably
This-
bad this movie is.
I-
You, oh you motherfucker! This is gonna hurt.
Ryoga, that might be a bit too cruel. That might be a bit too cruel. Myself personally, I'm thinking about just waiting and picking it up on DVD or Blu-ray, just because why not?
Yeah.
You know, get it on Blu-ray. You need to have Norm of the North in high definition. You know, you gotta have.
Oh yeah, Norma North high definition with all of us sitting together watching it,
It'd
and,
be like
and
best.
it's on live just to see I just want to see how we would think about it. That if we get to do that, yes, I'm all for it. Let's do it. Let's do a live reaction Norm of the North movie.
North drops online. I'll link us. I'll host a thing. And if you want to see our live reactions, riff track style, tune in as we rip apart Rob Schneider as a twerking fucking polar bear.
Oh boy. Oh boy, this is gonna get. Oh boy, this is gonna get good.
God, I feel like Daisy Gomergoo in the fucking Hateful Eight.
I kind of want to get like a faster processor just so I could like properly do this because I feel like if I was streaming, if I was in a live stream whilst watching Norm of the North, my current laptop, it would probably like just go, no, you're not doing this. You're not doing this to me. And I can't even tell if it's because of the fact.
That's what I was trying to say.
What?
Norm of the North will kill your computer if you do it. Wait. Anything else?
Okay, let's move on. Otherwise, we'll have a field day with Norm of the
And
North.
soon we will do a best of the worst of Norm of the North.
And if you
One of
want
us
to
has
know,
two riches left. That'd be good.
also a little thing as well, when that eventually happens, and then the next day you hear that a massacre happened in East Islip, just know that Norm of the North caused it. And if that happens, I can legally sue Rob Schneider for this. So, hey, there's something.
Hey, you know, like,
Right.
there's positives to everything, George. There's positives to everything.
Oh, really? Really?
This,
Yeah.
Name
Well,
one positive to Gem and the holograms existing.
Well, that makes everybody appreciate the original cartoon and the comics more.
nobody reads the fucking comics, you ass.
Oh,
Actually, I do know somebody who does, and he actually really likes them.
I do recommend reading the comic. It's really, really, really good. The animated series, well, it's pretty much it's too 80s poppy that that I don't know.
All right.
Right up its time, so.
But yeah, if you really want if you want the best experience of Gen of the Holograms, read the comics. Don't watch the movie. Only watch the original cartoon. You're very, very brave.
Don't.
Or totally outrageous.
Or totally outrageous. I mean, if I were to recommend an 80s cartoon, you would have to watch as a lifestyle without being so cringy about it. Might as well watch Moonbeam City. Even though
Myself
it's
personally, in
it's
regards
not,
to,
even though it's not an 80s cartoon, it's more like a parody of the 80s of the genre. But yeah, it's a little better. It's much better than the original Gem, the Holograms.
well, actually, in terms of authentic 80s cartoons, if you really wanted one, got one right here. Not sure if you could see that. There. Ah, shit. Kind of makes it like that. Can you see that?
Yes, Galaxy Rangers, the collector's edition. That's another one I would also recommend for classic 80s hits.
You guys are pretty much. I think we should end it because George is very much ready to kill us.
I hope the cat is not on there. George, you're being mean to the environment. I mean, is he
George.
being good?
George,
You're not gonna get your 50 cents back on that, or was it 5 cents?
who cares?
Just fucking, you know. Just fucking show. Got a fucking lamp.
So, shall we move on?
Anyway, let's get to the fucking thing.
Let's talk about the Bat manga.
Oh, shut up!
All right.
Anyway,
I'll just sit it down for right now.
okay, guys, I think my brain has been reduced so well that I've lost control of my legs, so I probably won't be getting up for a while. Let's just talk about the recent addition. I think a lot of people are going to want to talk about the new addition to the Fairly Odd Parents. And if you actually care about this, please let me know. If you don't, then I don't care. I just want to talk about this because we're running out of news, and let's just get to the topic. If you don't know, the Fairly Odd Parents has gone into its 10th season premiere, and they added in a new character, Chloe, I believe was his name. Why? I don't know. 2, I don't care. 3, let's just talk about it.
Okay, since I'm probably the one who actually watched it. I did make a review of that earlier in the weekend. But the entire story of the season premiere is pretty much explained in the brand new intro that came out a few days before that. So, Chloe Carmichael is Timmy's new neighbor. And it turns out there's a huge fairy shortage, so Timmy has to share Cosmo and Wanda with Chloe.
How the hell does that even work? Like, how do you have fairy shortages?
The reasoning is because, get a load of this, a lot of them went out to make candles.
What?
Yes.
I wish I was making this up.
I'm serious.
Apparently, a lot of fairies gave up their job of granting kids' wishes to make magic candles.
At least let's be honest and pretty much kill them off.
Okay, hang on. I know there's actually a video I came across once that perfectly. Oh shit, wrong one. Whatever, I can find it. It perfectly describes my entire reaction to it, if I can find it.
Please take your time.
Shall we continue?
No, it's okay. While he's finding that reaction, let me fill in the rest of the details. So Chloe is the new kid, and Timmy has to share his fairies with Chloe, whether he likes it or not. And he hates her for the fact that he is quite essentially the gender bent polar opposite of Timmy Turner.
No, that's great.
Found it.
Okay, let's see what. I'll highlight you. Give me a second.
Hang on. Let's see if I hang on. Okay, I gotta put it into theater mode because what
Get
more
on
do you
with
want
it!
to?
Get on with it!
Get on with it!
Yes, get on with it!
Get on with it! Hold on.
What the fuck?
Killer dong?
Oh, look who decided to join us. Hi, Thomas. Hey, bit late.
Yeah, I know. You said about an hour, and that the post was saying in about an hour, and it was an hour ago.
Over timing, I guess. And we're going to be talking about Fairly Odd Parents before wrapping this up.
Oh dear. Oh
Okay,
well, I
let me just get you quickly through it. We talked about.
No, remind me, please.
We talked about
Let's do it.
Secret Life of the
Let's
Pets.
do it, Jacob. Do it. Do it.
We
Do
talked
it.
about Secret Life of the Pets, the new trailer. Have you seen that one?
Pardon? What?
The Secret
We
Life
talked
of
about
Pets.
new-
Have you seen the new trailer?
Well, the Secret Life. Oh yeah. Don't worry. I have
With
seen it.
Kevin. Oh fuck! Now I
Kevin
forgot.
Hart.
Don't worry.
Kevin
Guys,
Hart.
don't worry. If I've missed it,
Kevin
I missed it. That's life.
Yeah. Okay. Then we talked about the Zootopia trailer. Have you seen that one?
Yes, I have. It was
Oh,
awesome.
goody.
Good. Would you like to talk about it? Because there's a lot of popular tonight.
No, don't worry. Don't worry. I missed it. I missed it all, so don't worry. Let's just keep going. Keep going.
Okay. And then we talked about Norm
We
of
talk
the
about
North.
Norm of the North.
Yeah, fine.
And we compared it to another movie, Joshua the Promised Land. If you haven't seen it, I recommend you check that out. See
then-
if that's good.
and then-
See which is worse, Joshua the Promised Land or North of the North. And I even propose that we do a live reaction of watching North of the Lord live.
Wait, did you say Norm of the Lord? Norm of the Lord?
Oh God!
That would be awesome, actually.
Lord of the North.
Can I just make sure I bring my dagger and to slit my wrists, please?
Oh yeah, sure. Go.
Yeah.
I was gonna bring the cyanide myself personally.
Fair enough.
I'm gonna bring my katana so I can do a seppuku.
No, I'll take away all of your weapons. We are doing this together. No suicide.
Oh man, and I need to get. Well, one thing I will need to get is, like I said, a faster processor or something like that.
I got a fast processor.
Oh, coolness.
Let me borrow it.
Surprisingly, this computer was designed to be a server, and I converted it into a normal computer. So it has, it doesn't really have a fast processor, so it can't run. You look very bored, mate.
You look brain dead. I'm just
Yeah.
gonna say that. You look brain dead.
Yes, he does. Was this podcast? Let me guess. This podcast was an absolute nightmare tonight.
You could argue that he's been cranky the past little while. It's really bugging us out. You know, it's really upsetting. You know.
Yeah, it's really upsetting. What we should do is that we take him to Australia where Rob Schneider lives, so that we can do a birthday party with him dressed up as Norm, do the twerking right in front of his face as he goes up the camera.
First of all, I had no idea that Rob Schneider lives in Australia. Thank you for telling me that, Ryoga. I was actually wanting to go to Australia. Now I want to set Australia on fire.
Surprisingly, I've been to Australia, and I'll tell you this now: if you got any Australian fans out there, get your bloody internet fixed. It's horrible. The internet prices are just. Okay, he just called himself under his bed. Okay, he has to sum up.
For the record, Thomas, he's snapping out about something that you were talking about that I think Stephen Fry mentioned, like in an episode of QI, I think.
Oh, that's why. Okay, I didn't realise that. Sorry about that.
Well, to be fair, I will happily mention something that Stephen Fry mentioned in QI, but that's just me.
So,
Okay.
shall we continue with the game?
Topic at hand.
Of course.
Okay. So that there's me and Yoga seeing the new Fairly Odd Parents.
Yes, I have, and it's awful. It's awful. It's awful. Why would, no offense, I'm not going to go because I missed it. I think you talked about it. I hate it.
Okay, good. That's great.
Excellent. Someone has to agree with me.
I would like to know. That's part of the reason why I do this thing.
I mean, like I said, I also watched it. I actually made a really long review and posted it that as well as a text version on the on my blog. But yeah, the short answer is that continuing with the story, it turns out Chloe isn't the perfect girl as she appears to be, because every time she does her good intentions, everything backfires and goes worse. So
Fucking sense.
So in this case, Timmy and Chloe have decided to accept each other, and as I said, as I quoted on the review, hint, Chloe is Timmy's possible new love interest, and decide to share furries with each other. So for the rest,
Ryoga, do I need to go out the Killer Dong video again?
No!
yes, do it, because I want to play something that's perfectly appropriate when you make the Killer Dong image. All right, hold up there. Hold on. I don't know how it's gonna work.
Can I actually play it? Give me the link. I can actually stream it onto the.
You're playing on the computer each and
If you don't hear, that's actually it's actually the out theme from the No Laughing Batsu game that comes out every year. So.
Okay.
I can actually do this.
I'll get him when I'm done with it.
But yeah.
Sorry about that.
Anyhow, so that's how it goes, and quite surprisingly, in the hours after it aired, I actually saw a lot of fan art of Chloe Carmichael, most notably, of course, and not surprisingly, from the Tumblr community, who seems to be very much supporting the show. And
You
um,
said the Tumblr oh, are you talking about Fairy Province again or not?
yeah, I'm talking
Yeah.
about the
We
Fairly
need
Odd
to
Parents
ask
again.
Ryoga, and this is something I don't think either one of us want to ask this, but I feel as though I need to ask anyway. Are any of them in R34 category?
I only know one particular Tumblr who does R34, and he's a well-known person. I've actually seen his artwork, but
Uh,
that said, he didn't post anything. He didn't post any. Allegedly, he didn't post any R34 of Chloe Carmichael. He didn't do that. Instead, he actually the okay for the record, he did R34 to the Fairly Odd Parents before, but in the case of Chloe Carmichael, he didn't. But instead, he actually made an artwork of a scene of Chloe and Timmy together and their reaction to it, and compared it to a scene from Star vs. Force of Evil with Marco and Star's meeting,
Hmm.
and
oh, oh
if
yeah, I saw that. Yeah.
if you saw that, you could pretty that pretty I wasn't able to mention it, but yeah, one possible reason. It made me suspect that one possible reason Nickelodeon is doing this Chloe's character is essentially their answer to Star Butterfly.
Which
Ah.
in and of itself, it almost kind of Star was sort of an answer. I thought Star was a bit of an answer to like the magical girl genre of Japan.
Yeah, I think yes, in a way that's the case.
Do you
And
think
I forgot to mention she was also the answer to something in Adventure Time. I forgot which character it was. I talked about it a long time ago.
Do you think it's
But
another
yeah,
answer of putting a Nickelodeon girl in a Nickelodeon show? Because the problem is, right?
that's another thing that I kind of suspect because Chloe is essentially is a copycat gender bent Timmy Turner. So I did wonder if somewhere down the road they plan to make Chloe as the new protagonist and get rid of Timmy Turner. I mean, number one, The Fairly Odd Parents is the second longest running Nickelodeon show next to SpongeBob, running for 15 years now. And
Wow.
yeah, I'm surprised it's that long.
I even
And
told my brother it. My brother was upstairs, and when I said there's a new Very Odd Parents show, he said he went like this. He put his mouth on like this. He said, "It's still running." He didn't know, or we don't know that. We didn't know that.
yeah,
But,
apparently it is still running. It's likely to continue. And going back to the possible of Chloe becoming the new protagonist is because the fact that she actually sounds like Timmy, despite the fact that she's not voiced by Tara Strong. She's voiced instead by Carrie Waldron. Now Carrie Waldron, she's a well-known voice actress. She did a lot of acting almost as long as the show itself. I think her most prominent role, I'm not sure about this. I think she played Charmcaster
Charmcaster, yes.
in the Ben 10 franchise. But yeah, but she did a lot of
ah,
cartoon and anime roles. So this is just another one of her latest gigs she's
hmm.
doing right now. But
Let
the
me.
fact that she sounds almost exactly like Timmy Turner.
Oh, she's apparently Haruko and Fully Cooley.
Yeah,
That's
and
cool.
she's
That's
also
nice.
Haruko in Fully Cooley. So she does have a lot of credentials under her belt, and almost as much as Tara herself. So
But this
that's
might
what
Now
one
be.
thing.
But we don't know because they have introduced this show. But if I remember rightly, they've done cartoons and shows like this before. They introduce a new character, they play it around for three episodes, and then they just completely ditch her. So it might just to draw in the back in the audience, if you know what I mean, or say, "Hey, we're still on TV. Do you know we got a new episode? Oh, we thrown in a new character." So we don't know how long this may actually last.
That's true. That's another possibility. It could be just a particular story arc.
Actually,
Since if I recall, they don't do Poof anymore because the fact that Poof can now talk. And so they actually so once Poop started talking, there was less and less episodes of him. I don't know what they did with Sparky the dog, but that was a terrible
I'll
one.
tell you what, there was
Yeah, I can remember a
Look
couple
in the backyard
episodes.
of the Turner house. Cosmo and Lana got other ones, turned them into guns, and well, they sent them out to the Happy Farm.
I think
Can I just say something really quickly? I just mentioned that Carrie Walgren or whatever is was Haruko. Now I'm asking something of you, Ryoga. Does the episode start up like a normal episode, but then Chloe comes in on a motorcycle and hits Timmy on the head with a guitar?
I would definitely wish that was the case, but no, it's just a typical just your typical Fairly Odd Parents episode. Nothing
Aww.
new, nothing less. It just happens to have a female Timmy Turner in it. I said it in my review. If Nickelodeon's gonna bring me back with it, and with the plot of Timmy sharing fairies with another kid, they would have just picked Jimmy Neutron. Because
Yeah.
Jimmy Neutron doesn't believe in magic, and if he's the one chosen for Timmy to share with, that's gonna make it an interesting story because he's gonna try to make sense of everything that's going on, despite the fact that right in front of him magic exists.
That's wonderful.
Yeah, Ryoga. I can bet you. By the half of the season, you're gonna pretty much shout in the sky, "I fucking quit."
I can't even express my own fucking opinion on my own fucking show. That's just great.
go for it. Go for it.
Go for it. Go for it.
Go for it.
Okay.
Okay.
And now I'm.
Oh, shut up, Jacob. Keep it until he's done.
Alright, can I give my own thoughts on something? And this is dedicated to Clint, our viewer, one of our big sponsors for the show. Okay, my thoughts on the show. You know what? I don't care. I really don't. The show exists. I've come to accept that. It's gonna keep existing. I don't care. I don't care if they add a new protagonist. I don't care if they add a new dog, a new cat, a new parents because Timmy accidentally killed his parents. I don't care if they add some grandmother. I don't care if Timmy suddenly gets AIDS. I don't care if Cosmo ends up getting pregnant again. I do not care.
Actually, that's another thing that actually came across my mind shortly after watching the season 10 premiere. It actually, after watching it and seeing that's been 15 years now since the show started airing, and essentially they decided to ditch the events of Channel Chasers, which was the supposed end game of the Fairly Odd Parents. It reminded me a lot about the Doraemon, Shin-Chan, and all of the other long-running animes that we talked about before we started this podcast, in which they actually start up and with the end game planned, but over 30, 50, 30, 40 years later, it's still going with no end in sight. And everybody seems to pretty much accept the fact that it's going to keep on going with no end in sight. And
Well, actually, technically speaking, Doraemon did technically end at one point and then came back.
Came back again as a brand new series. Like I said, the ride never ends.
Like The Simpsons.
The Simpsons still, only because of the fact that Fox continues to pay them to keep on going. Otherwise, the show would have ended like decades ago. They just wanted to keep on paying, doing that. But yeah, Doraemon, Shin-Chan, Pokemon, Case Closed, and I would have to say even the Naruto series. That's where and One Piece. Those are the number of animes that we're definitely are in for the long run, for the long haul. Probably around for a generation or two before they finally decided to end the whole thing. And seeing what's going on with the Fairly Odd Parents now, I have pretty much come to accept that that's exactly the same route they're doing, and to that extent, SpongeBob as well. Thankfully, with the case of Teen Titans Go, I mentioned it several podcasts ago that on Cartoon Network's press conference, they do plan to continue the show at least until 2020. So at least we know that one has a planned ending. But for SpongeBob and Fairly Odd Parents, yeah, it'll probably go like 30, 20, 30. I'm not surprised if it's going to be there when I'm 70.
Or until the ratings plummet to the ground.
Until I burn Nickelodeon down to the ground. Nobody.
Yeah.
and whoever else is working there currently. I'll leave out C.H. Greenblatt. He's a good guy.
Oh yeah, he's a good guy. No foul on him.
Yeah.
I think as far as the
I don't know.
as Harvey Beats is
I
concerned,
don't
is pretty much
know.
doing well.
Yeah. You know, actually, no. I think I won't kill Butch Hartman. I'll just put him through some Japanese water torture and then cast him out bare naked.
I only want Butch to bring back Danny Phantom, for crying out loud. He's been teasing about it, but never even taking it seriously. Just bring back Danny Phantom. It ended unceremonious. They tried to do an ending, but it's just a sudden one and not really provide an actual closure of sorts. But I do want to for him to bring that one back at least.
Then butcher the executives from the Nickelodeon for them to greenlight it.
Do these fit you?
I don't think they did.
What about these?
What?
Greetings, Thomas's mom.
So
Yeah, I don't think those
So
fit.
If I'm gonna talk about the actual episode in general,
yeah.
Actually, you know what? I think those ones do. Like those gray ones you just picked up.
Oh.
So like I said, so yeah, as far as the episode is concerned, it's still your typical Fairly Odd Parents episode, nothing new here. If they didn't bring back Foop, then you would have thought that the show went back to its roots of being just Timmy, Cosmo, and Wanda without any of the additional characters, with the exception of Chloe, and that would have been fine if they give it if that it meant that they are trying to emulate what Adventure Time is doing with the current season, going back to its roots as being more of adventure, and so far it's doing well for Cartoon Network in terms of ratings.
okay.
So
Now,
who knows
Shane, what are you doing?
if I
I don't
get
know
this,
Anything else, George?
I was going to give my own. I have the show in general. I'm going to talk about my own thoughts on the episode in general. I think the episode mediocre. That's all I think of it. It's merely mediocre. It didn't enrage me like it did to Clint or Sylvia or Tommy or all of you guys. I just watched it. It was just a thing.
Well, I mean, I hope you're not including me in all this because I didn't actually watch the episode.
Because you're a hack fraud. Anyway, it's just a thing that exists. I come to accept that. It's like being in an abusive relationship or getting jail raped. You just get used to it after a while. So, pardon the dark metaphor, I'm just really... Look, tonight I got into a challenge with a guy. I'm going to be watching an Adam Sandler Happy Madison horror movie, so please cut me some slack.
That's why I'm asking if you want to play the four Yorkshiremen with me, George. See which of us has the worst day ever. Just trust me.
I'm just doing something.
Are you talking to someone?
Well, I think
Yeah, I know.
night. This has been the
But
best
yeah,
friends.
but that said, yeah, I would have to agree with George.
Phone me or something.
The episode overall is just your typical Fairly Odd Parents episode. It's really not terrible to watch at all. But that's what you can expect on a Fairly Odd Parents. I would be surprised if they actually try to bring an actual plot in, but they haven't been doing that for like, I don't know,
I think
more than a decade now. So,
anyway,
so it's pretty much not something I'm gonna go back to watch to, unless they do have an actual plot going on.
you know, if I'm gonna be honest, I'm actually kind of interested in seeing where they go. I might tune into the next episode and see what happens there. If not, if it doesn't go anywhere, then I'll just stop watching it like I've done for years now. Okay? Okay.
So if they do another episode and like more like a plot development, I do expect at least in Timmy showing the ropes on how fairy wishes work and how Chloe would deal with other characters like Vicky, because Vicky pretty much made only a cameo appearance here, and she's pretty much a prominent regular. So I'm interested in how Chloe would interact with Vicky in this situation, and the other characters that Timmy normally encounters,
Okay.
and how Chloe would deal with them, and how the wishes work.
Okay.
That's interesting. That's interesting. That's actually an interesting theory. Actually, I'm very impressed
Now
because
all of a sudden, yeah, all these things do make me more curiouser and curiouser to watch the next episode.
it's like
Well
and
played, Nickelodeon. Well played.
if one thing out of well with Vicky with this new character, the new girl. What happens? I know they have to share. I haven't watched the episode because it's not shown in the UK, and I might actually catch up online. But I have not. When you think about it, will you have a couple of episodes when they actually gang up on Vicky?
That's
So
that's very interesting.
because now you got two children.
Right,
You got the new child. I didn't remember her name. I didn't get it. I do apologise.
Chloe.
Chloe. You got Chloe, and you got Turner. Oh dear. So how is that going to work with Vicky? I mean, is Vicky going to babysit them both at the same time in the same house,
Very
or
interesting. Mhm.
or are they going to have one episode when he's with Timmy Turner, and then Vicky's going to poof him out the house to the other house to get away from Vicky? So it's another.
Yeah, constantly trading who she has to babysit. Like they make kids.
Yeah.
I wish she was
Yeah,
here.
that's another thing.
Or
And
are they going to add in another babysitter?
That's a
I
good.
don't know. I think the problem is Chloe's character as being the perfect girl. She's smart. She's caring. She's ridiculously rich.
Oh.
So I don't know how her persona will go along with Vicky as being, as I dare to call her, a sadist.
I do agree with that, termist. I do believe in that term. I think there was one episode, actually, if I can remember rightly, I think there was one episode she was worshipping the devil sign on a round table with candles. If I can remember, that was one episode. One episode.
And I'm surprised
And I think-
Nickelodeon allowed that.
And I think it was a Halloween special as well, so
Yeah.
they can get away with it. And he said, "Oh, I'm just acting like this," and she just said, "That's what I tell the parents," and then just wanders off in a cheery tune. So, but because I can remember one time, Vicky was this is a long time ago when Vicky was got fired, and then
Yes,
there
I
was
remember
another-
that one. Where she got,
Yeah,
she,
and then
she
he
got
got
fired.
not-
Actually,
Yeah.
Timmy wished Vicky got fired.
And
as a
then, if I remember rightly, there was a door knock on the door. And said, "Hey, Mum, who was that?" Oh, these are your new babysitters. And then the two like dark red capes pointing a
Yes.
skeleton. Say, "Give me the child!" And then
they take Timmy to some sort of prison camp. Or
yes, I remember. Yeah.
It was just so bad that Timmy had decided to unwish that wish so that Vicky would be his babysitter. Yeah, I do remember. But those were one of the earlier episodes, and those were really, really good back then.
I love them. It's surprising. I am old. I'm really elderly for what I watch because I just love. What the heck? Never mind.
We're in mode right now. I just want to sit and
Huh?
just.
We're basically torturing George because we can't stop talking about the Fairly Odd Parents because
Oh,
of
he
how
didn't.
Why are you guys so obsessed with the fucking show? It's just a show.
Let's just keep talking.
Well, we would say the same about the other shows we watch: Steven Universe, Adventure Time, Teen Titans Go,
Why do you?
Gravity Falls, among other things.
Sorry.
Which, by the way, we only have like a few more weeks before the finale comes out.
Oh, brilliant.
I want to do to you guys.
You don't like
So
Gravity Falls?
the Fairly Odd Parents pretty much a legitimate subject for us to talk to. I mean, like I said, it's episodes. The episode isn't that terrible, and it does provide some interesting speculations. What's going to happen next? Is it going to be just a permanent thing, or will it just be part of some story arc? And how Chloe's going to interact with the other characters and all that. So all of a sudden, Fairly Odd Parents becomes interesting again, but only out of curiosity, not because it's good or anything. It's still bad, but it is curious, just like Run of the North.
Great way to sum it up. Should I fucking end this already?
Oh. Do we have to?
Yes!
Actually, can I mention something? You mentioned the devil thing, like Vicky worshiping Satan, right?
Yeah.
You know what that reminds me of? That reminds me of there was like 2 episodes of Rocco's Modern Life, one of which where
Oh
Heifer goes to Heck.
yes, I remember that. Heck, Rocco and Heck. That
I never liked them. For me, I find Rocky and Bull that
Rocky and
show.
Bullwinkle.
Oh god,
Rocky-
I got the wrong show.
Totally different shows, Thomas.
Totally different
Yes, I
show.
know. I just realised what I said when I said that. But the show you're talking about, I never really liked it. It was just too weird. Mundane. I think that's the word. Mundane.
Well, I mean, it's called Rocco's Modern Life. You know, you gotta take what you can get. But it was
you don't
weird
like the
because-
the Wacky Deli skit? That was basically one of the
I'm the cheese.
Yes.
I'm the greatest part about the show.
character in this cartoon.
I am even better than the salami and the bologna combined. And it's weird because they deliberately had to be hacked. In fact, Heifer said, "Heck, isn't it supposed to be censors?"
Nope, censors, something like that.
Which is weird because I can't remember if it was an earlier or later episode. They had a bit where they were going to a carnival or a theme park or something, and they actually had a ride that says "Ride to Hell" or something like that. They actually did say hell, and they had to be very specific and let you know.
It was elevator to hell.
Oh, elevator to hell. Thank you.
The elevator to hell, which is quite very, very ironic. Considering they say they can't say the word because of censor, and because it's a Nickelodeon show, yet they have that one completely out in the open.
Probably because they actually had the devil just show up right there. You know, they figured, they'll figure it out.
I like it. It's very cool. It's very cool. Hold on. One censorship. I hate censorship, but I like it how people get around censorship. It's like.
You want to see my personal favorite censorship? This is.
Well, yeah, go for it.
George, please understand. I need to show this.
Guys, I think we
The show.
I have to. It's fantastic. It's beautiful.
Because my brain is kind of like a guitar, and you guys are like knives cutting off each string. And
No, it's not nice to cut strings.
Okay,
It's actually
okay.
a pair
You
of
guys know the
pliers, but.
Okay, I'll fully admit I'm not a big fan of Naruto. That said, I love this bit of censorship show so much.
Oh, that one, yeah. That's hilarious.
Okay, this is the original Japanese version.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, now for some reason in Germany, there's something I don't know why they have this really weird aversion to like certain ninja-related things, or they're afraid of swords because this is what they did to censor it.
God! That's brilliant! Oh, brilliant! Surprising! I love censorship. What was the other censorship? The other censorship from Germany, if I can remember rightly, it was a bit not rude, but it was in an anime show, and what they did it was a Pokemon show. It was one of the Pokemons, and what they didn't like it. So, but it was in a real weird location. So it was like this, and saying like this, holding like this, and one of the Pokemons was really weird. So they blurred it out with so much backlighting what's the word? Vaseline. That's it. Vaseline. So it's like Vaseline cream. So she was looking like she was doing this. Like that.
Wait, what? What? Let me see. I want to see it again. Do that again.
Oh my god! And I'm just thinking, I didn't know if it was a trick or a hack. I don't know if someone just did it for a joke, but it was just hilarious. And you're just thinking, sometimes when you see this, you would you feel like you want to just not die, but you're just thinking, why on earth is there a world with censorship? It's awful. Awfully funny sometimes, but funny as all.
Yeah, if you can find it, you can actually find some funny censorship that they would they would do in these shows. But yeah, but most yes, they are bad.
That was like 4Kids levels of shit. And I just showed. Actually, no, they couldn't even do that. At least 4Kids, they try to add something to it. That was literally just blurring it out. And just having the weird stick just floating.
That's network television for you. So.
I should know. Actually, I used to watch 4Kids TV on Saturday mornings.
Oh, I used to watch it too. I remember.
The reason
watching
why was just because I didn't have cable or satellite or anything like that. I was just forced to watch it, and actually, I grew to like it. I grew to like it. It kind of grew on me like a weird little tumor that you happen to like for some reason.
So that's it.
I think that. Yeah, boy. I'm just trying to figure out something.
George, I think George left. I'm about to say we're pretty much done with
yeah,
parents now.
Yeah. I want to talk to
Well,
you
it's a lot of
person.
fun.
Okay, let's hear what Proto has to say. Keep this thing going longer.
Nope.
No, the stage is all you. The stage is all you. Please, I want to hear. Please.
Nah, it's something we can talk off the air.
Okay, is there anything else you people would like to talk about tonight?
No, we just had some fun and making you really mad.
I just mentioned 4Kids. Did you guys remember that weird Yu-Gi-Oh! GX line that was originally in the Japanese version? It was actually relevant to the story, but in the American...
They changed it, yes.
And it was something like, wow, that was a nice burger or something, and one of them goes, I prefer a Grand American Cheeseburger, or something like that. And I was just going, even by 4Kids levels, that's bad. Because at the very least, usually when they try to edit something like that, they try to kind of keep the idea of the story. But also, George, are you getting cranky?
Shall we say the Icky Georgie song? Icky Georgie, ooh, ooh, Icky Georgie.
George, why are you showing us your ass? Oh.
He's tired. Well, I think we got our PG-13 this time on this podcast.
I think we said fuck before, so I think we're getting an R.
Yeah.
So, this is perhaps one of the greatest episodes of the Messitunes podcast we've ever done.
Yeah, it's gonna get better. Just wait until we're gonna do next tomorrow.
I don't know when we're gonna be talking about that. All I know is that I feel like Jennifer Jason Leigh in The Hateful Eight. I feel like being hanged. At the end of my life. My brother's spoilers, by the way. If you haven't seen the fucking film, I don't care. Anyway, kids yelling in the background. Anyway, this has been the Masters podcast. I've been your host, and joining me tonight was out of nowhere Thomas. We all came in at the beginning. Jacob here lives to torture me, and my best friend Proto, who helps me out talking about this insanity. Anyway, hope to see you guys.
And hang on, let's end it off. We need to end it off with one thing, and one thing only.
Okay, give me a minute. I want to give off my end-offing. Okay, I'll be seeing you all next week, or next year, or the next decade. We're going to be talking about the Steven bomb.
If this were a Batsu game, all of us would have our our asses whipped.
See you guys next week.
Bye bye. Bye bye.
Goodbye. Ow.
Bye bye.
Bye. I'm off.